Good morning people, Ibu here. If you don't skip this video, I'm gonna show you how I rode all these places solo in my bike. So this was a ride that I did on my 26th birthday. So what I did was, I took my bike from Bangalore, I rode all the way to Pondicherry, and from Pondicherry I went to Dhanushkodi, and from Dhanushkodi I went to Kanyakumari, and Kanyakumari then Varkala, and then all the way up till Goa, and then back to Bangalore. So one of the main reasons I wanted to do this ride was, like on every birthday I always do something crazy. Like on my 25th birthday I went on a solo backpacking trip to Thailand, and on my 26th birthday as well I wanted to do something crazy. And with COVID and lockdown and a lot of restrictions, this was the most feasible thing that I could do. So when I was planning this ride, my initial thought was to go to Leh Ladakh, but then with the number of leaves I had, I know it wasn't feasible. Like I had very few amount of leaves, and so what I thought was, okay, like let me go to Goa. But then I have been to Goa a lot of times, and let me go to Pondicherry because I've never been to the east coast of India. But then I'm like, hey, it's my birthday, what if Pondicherry gets boring? Then I'm like, oh, so let's do Pondicherry and Goa, and in between, like see all the places which are in between. So that's how I ended up in a crazy southern Indian coastline ride. So my plan was to leave Bangalore on Feb 14th in the evening, so that I reach my first destination before the sunrise. Like I've never seen a sunrise, over a sea. I set out from Bangalore on almost at 5 p.m. Even though Pondicherry to Bangalore was only like 350 kilometers, but doing it in the night, like I said, it's a bit risky. And it turned out to be bad within the first after the first 100 kilometers. Actually the roads were like really nice, but I had a long day on Feb 14th, and I was really tired. It almost took me 30 coffee, like 30 those small cups of coffee to uh, get myself to ride from Bangalore to Pondicherry. And also I took, I think, like 2 1-hour naps. So altogether a 9-hour ride. It almost took me 10 hours, and I only reached Pondicherry at like 10 a.m. I missed my sunrise, and I was a bit sad because I really wanted to have a sunrise over the sea. But as soon as I reached Pondi, I went straight to the beach, like straight to Rock Beach, and I was like, okay, this is the Rock Beach, and basically I just chilled there for a bit, and then I went out. I went out and tried looking for a place to stay. So I had quite a few options to stay, but then I went to this hostel come ashram, and so they had two options. They had private rooms for 250 rupees a night, and dorm beds for like 400. And even I was surprised when he said that. I'm like, is it the other way around, like 400 for a private room and 250 for a dorm bed? He's like, no. And then I got myself like a single room, and then I just crashed for a bit, and the place, it was okay, like for 250 rupees, you cannot complain. But the host was like really nice. As soon as I entered, like it was almost like 1 p.m. or something, and he offered me something to eat and all that, and he explained me like what all are the places to see in Pondicherry. And me being a beach person, he told me like all the beaches that I should go to and all that. So I rested for a bit, and it was almost like 2:30, and I went to my second beach of the day. That was to Serenity Beach. Hello guys. So I'm here at Serenity Beach. This beach, I don't know why, it's nothing special. Wait, am I supposed to say that this beach is not that special? So Serenity Beach is on the northern part of Pondicherry. Like if you know, Pondicherry is like a small island, across Tamil Nadu, like towards the eastern side. And Serenity Beach is on the north side of the main white town and all. So it was just like 10 to 15 minutes ride to Serenity Beach. Serenity Beach is like, I would say, like any other beach that I've seen in like Goa and all that. It's a bit commercialized and all that, and but it's actually really nice. And I just spent I think close to like 30 to 40 minutes. I had some nice fish also there, and then I rode down to Paradise Beach. So Paradise Beach is on the southern part of Pondicherry, and it's almost like a 30-minute ride from Serenity Beach. So I went there, and actually Serenity Beach, I would say it's one of the most prettiest and cleanest beach that I've seen in India. So basically, when you enter, you have this lake, and then you have a bridge. You have to go through the bridge, and then you have the sea. It's very scenic, you know. And the host also told me like it's a good place to watch the sunset, because the sun sets over the lake, you know, and you have the ocean behind, because we are on the east coast. But then I was talking to a local there, and he said there's another sunset place which is like really nicer than this, and he showed me the Google location. And when I saw it in the Google location, I also like figured out, you know, like it would be a nice sunset from there, and I went. So it was basically right next to White Town. It was a beach called Pondi Marina Beach. So once I went to the location, and that's when I realized, okay, you know, it's almost like a secret spot, because there is no mention of, you know, any sunset thing and all. It's just that some random he pinned it on the Google map, and he said like go here. It's nice. But the best thing was like you have like a lot of sand dunes there, so if you go on top of it, you get like a panoramic view of the White Town and all the areas nearby. It was actually nice. Even the sunset also, you know, the sun setting down, it was really nice. So after almost you know, hopping to like 4 beaches within like 4 to 5 hours, I went back, freshened up myself, and then I wanted to go out. I wanted to see what nightlife in Pondicherry was, but unfortunately, due to COVID, there was no nightlife. So it was basically like what everybody was doing was that they were walking on the beach road. So beach road is the one, is the road next to the rock beach. Like it's in between White Town and the rock beach. So you have a road. So it kind of felt like, you know, like a very sober walking street. So yeah, like I just chilled there for a bit, had some dinner, and then went back to crash. And I had to get up early the next day. So I woke up at like 4:30 a.m. I was like, no way I'm missing the sunrise. Had some coffee, rushed straight to Rock Beach, and put my GoPro up for the time lapse. And I had like one of the most beautiful sunrises, I would say. Like I've only had like few sunrises in my life, so this was one of the most beautiful and one of the most special sunrises that I had in my life. And then I walked around White Town. I went into a cafe for some breakfast, and then I went back to my hostel, packed up my bags, and my plan was to like go to Auroville. So it was almost like 7:30 by the time I reached Auroville, and actually when I reached there, they said it was not gonna open till 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So initially I thought to wait, but then I had a long day planned. So my plan was to like go to Dhanushkodi, watch the sunset, and then go to Kanyakumari for the sunrise. So basically this whole trip I was just chasing sunsets and sunrises, and that's why I would say nothing went according to the plan. So I left for Dhanushkodi from Pondicherry at around 8:30, and it was almost supposed to be like an 8-hour ride. So I knew I was going to reach Dhanushkodi by like 6, plenty of time for the sun to set, and then chill there for a bit, and then have some dinner, and ride till Kanyakumari, which is another 300 kilometers. But by the time I reached Dhanushkodi, it was almost 7:30, and I was actually riding slow, to be honest, like because that was my first time I was riding in the daylight, and you know, it was like pretty scenic, and I didn't feel like, you know, I had to rush. So I was just going with my own pace, you know, like enjoying the nature around me, and I didn't feel like rushing. and by the time I reached Dhanushkodi, it was almost 7:30. Like I was 1 hour behind. But still, I wanted to go to the beach because they said in the night you can see the lighthouse of Sri Lanka. So when I want to go to the beach, they stopped me like some 5 kilometers before the beach, and they said beach is closed at 7:30. And then I had a decision to make: stick to my original plan, which is to go to Kanyakumari for the sunrise, or go to Rameshwaram or some place where I can crash for a bit and go to Dhanushkodi in the morning. Visit those ruins, visit that dead end, and then come back. So I was almost, in fact, I had made up my mind to ride in the night again and go to Kanyakumari. But then I don't know, something happened, and I thought, okay, let me find a place to stay and like let me rest, let me not rush things again. So I went back to Rameshwaram, and Rameshwaram, it was my first time again. It was my first time there. It was a small temple town. Again, I met a guy there. He thought I was a big time YouTuber, and he wanted pictures from me. I kind of felt awkward because that was sometime that was first somebody asking me a picture, and we clicked pictures, and I just found some shady looking. You can't even call it a hotel, like some shady looking hotel. Again, it was 250 per night, so why not? So I checked into that place, crashed. I was up since 5, and I was like on my bike literally. And I woke up next day again at 5 a.m. Day 3, 5 a.m. I woke up, freshened up, got into my bike, packed, and went straight to the beach. And when I was riding to the beach, if you check the map, you have a single stretch of straight lane. Basically the dead end, and you have like water bodies around. And early morning, like a slight fog. I would say like it was one of the best stretches. It was just like a kilometer stretch, but it was one of the best stretches that I've rode. Like that early morning, I would say more than the fact that I reached Dhanushkodi, that short stretch made it all worth it. And I reached Dhanushkodi. I spent almost like 15 to 20 minutes there, clicked some pictures. I thought I would see Sri Lanka, but then I didn't. But I did get a message saying, "Hey, welcome to Sri Lanka," and I put it in status, and my friends are like, "Oh, you went to Sri Lanka also." So that happened, and then yeah, I packed my bike again, and I left for Kanyakumari. Riding to Kanyakumari, it was a bit of boring because it was basically a highway. There wasn't nothing much scenery, same scenery again and again, which I was kind of getting bored of. And but then again, the joy of reaching the southernmost tip of India kept motivating me, because that was a place that I really wanted to visit. Like that being it was actually a milestone. Even it was like 300 kilometers away from Dhanushkodi, and it took me almost like 5 to 6 hours. I reached there at like 2 p.m. and my plan was to chill there for a bit and go to Varkala for sunset. I don't know, I had this crazy wish of watching the sunrise on the east coast of India and being on the west coast of India for the sunset. I don't know, I just wanted it, and I'm so happy that I could accomplish it. So I reached Kanyakumari at like 2 p.m. and then I chilled for a bit, and it was actually, even though like I was tired, like I almost rode like 300 kilometers already, and I was tired, but standing there, actually Kanyakumari isn't nothing much. You have the Arabian Ocean, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Indian Ocean all meeting. Basically, you are surrounded by water bodies, and you have like few temples and you like viewpoints and all that. But that sense of being on the southernmost tip of India, it's like it's something like you should be like, I would say like I'm proud of it, because there are like a lot of people who can be there, like say like who can be there even tomorrow, but they haven't yet. But me being there, it kind of felt like I was very joyful being there. So I spent like close to like 1 to 2 hours exploring Kanyakumari, and like going to like different viewpoints and all that. And then yeah, I got into my bike, packed my bike, clicked some pictures, and I was off to Workala. Kanyakumari to Workala was only supposed to be like a 4 hour ride, almost close to like 200, 300 kilometers. But that was like the first time, like I've already rode like 1,000 kilometers, but that was the first time I really got lost. And what was supposed to be a 4 hour ride took me almost like 7 hours to reach Workala. So I had this thinking like, okay, I watched the sun rise in Dhanushkodi and I want to watch the sunset in Workala, but it didn't happen. But I caught the sun setting down in a place called Puvar, which is near Trivandrum. And then like I reached Workala like almost like at 7:30, 8 o'clock. I didn't book a place to stay, but then like I had a friend in Instagram text me and saying that a place called Piggy Hostel, it's like one of the nicest place in Workala to stay. So I checked into that hostel. Actually, that hostel was dead. It was basically the property manager, and then there were like 2 volunteers. So I thought, okay, I was just gonna chill. I was just gonna sleep there in the night. Next day, probably see a bit of Workala and leave next day afternoon, like how it was in like Pondi, Dhanushkodi, and all that. So I checked into that hostel, and it started to rain. And I was talking to the property manager. His name was Gio. He himself is a traveler. So Gio was like, hey, you want to go to the beach? I said, it's raining. He's like, yeah, why not? Let's go. And I'm like, okay. So I went with him. We went to a beach called Black Beach in the night, like at 10 o'clock. I was dead tired and I was just playing with the waves. Actually, one of the reasons he took me to that Black Beach was to show me that bioluminescence. And actually, that was again my first time seeing that. Even though like I'm a beach person, that was my first time, seeing that. And basically it was like 10 o'clock. I was dead tired, and I was still playing with the waves, and just having good time. And then I came back, crashed. I was dead tired because I had almost rode close to like 700 kilometers, and I was very frustrated because I got lost on the way to Workala, and I ended up taking a longer route. And I crashed. I woke up in the next day, had some nice Kerala breakfast, and then I set out to explore Workala. So first I went to Workala Cliff, and actually I thought Workala Cliff, I don't know, I always felt it to be like a very overrated place, but only when I visited Workala, I saw how beautiful it was. Like even the beach itself, you basically have a sandy beach. In fact, I thought it was a rocky beach, but it's a sandy beach. Then you have a cliff. On the cliff you have a pathway, and then you have shops, resorts, places to eat and all that. And one of the best things I did was like cycle through that pathway. Like you have a pathway, you can cycle or walk, and then you have a drop like a cliff, and then you have the beach. So cycling was one of the nicest things that I did there. And then also I beach hopped to like 3 other beaches like Edwa and Kapil Beach and Tani Beach. Again, Kapil Beach is basically you have a beach on one side and you have a lake on one side, and it's very scenic. And also like the sunset on the Edwa Beach is also like one of the nicest sunsets that I can see, like the sun setting in the middle. Usually what happens is like in India, most of the places the sun set towards the side, towards a bit of towards your right side, but this one right in the middle. My plan was to only stay in Workala for one night, like the initial night, and the next day I was supposed to leave by evening. But then again I extended my stay. Like what was supposed to be like a quick one night stopover turned into like 2 nights because of the people I met there, like the Geo and those 2 volunteers, Shreya and Pani. So it was like a really good time. We were like sharing each other's like experiences, and like all our travel stories, and like things to do in Workala and all those things. Another reason why I extended my stay was because the next day morning I was supposed to go deep sea fishing with some local fishermen, but then it got cancelled, and but I went for surfing. In fact, one of the cheapest surfing classes that I got to know, like it was only like $600, and I thought, okay, why not? So that was my second morning in Workala, and then I was just came back from surfing, and then I just had some good food, and I was just resting because I know I had a long ride ahead. I had a ride of almost like 1,000 kilometers, and that 1,000 kilometers, and for that 1,000 kilometers, I know I had to be on my bike for at least 29 hours. Plus, I also had like to meet my friends in between, like in a place called Malappuram, and also in Manipal, which is next to Mangalore. So I left Workala at around 4 p.m. and my plan was to like reach Malappuram for dinner, and then so if you don't know, like I'm from a place called Kannur, which is in Kerala, and spend the night in Kannur, wake up in the morning, uh, be in Mangalore by lunch, and then be in Goa by dinner. So that was my plan, but it didn't go as per plan. So I left at like 4 p.m. in 4 p.m. from Workala. Again, riding in Kerala is hard, like because you don't have those wide highways, like, and it's like, I mean, national highways are only like 2 lane or 1 lane highways, and so by the time I reached Malappuram, it was already 12. My friends were like waiting for me, and we had dinner, and then I went back. I had to ride more 160 kilometers to reach my home, my hometown, my home. Actually, I downplayed those that 160 kilometers. I thought like I could just do it like that, but I was tired because I had a beach. Like I was surfing in the morning, then I was like cycling around Varkala, and then I rode through Kerala traffic, which is kind of hard, and I kind of had a heavy dinner, and it was taking a toll on me. Usually, what happens is that if I am sleepy, or if I'm, like I'm not in a good state to ride, I just stop my bike anywhere I find and just take a power nap, like maybe get down on the bike and take a power nap, anything like that. But I knew like if I ride more, I have a comfortable bed, and so basically I was just riding and just dozing off. Yeah, somehow I made it to my house very sleepy in the sense like I didn't even I kept my bag on the bike there. I didn't even open anything. I just took out my charger, plugged my phone in, and I crashed. It was almost like 6 a.m. By the time I reached home, and I woke up at 10, and I left. I left my house. Like I freshened up and I left. Funny thing was, it was only my sister at my home. My parents were abroad that time, so my mom, my sister called. My parents didn't know about this ride, and my sister called and told me, "Hey, your son is here. You want to talk to him?" My mom was like, "Yeah, give the phone," and she's like, "He disappeared. He took his bike and went somewhere, and he has a big bag." So this was something funny, which like after the trip, I was telling my mom, I rode all these places. I left Kannur at around 10:30. Again, I was on schedule to make it for lunch in Manipal, but then again, the first main problem or an issue, on my trip happened. So I rode almost 1,500 kilometers without any issues, and actually my bike gave up. I cannot say my bike gave up. My bike's tire gave up. What happened was the spokes broke and it poked the tube and it got punctured. But lucky enough, it happened right in front of a Royal Enfield garage, like a garage which specializes in Royal Enfield. And it took like some 2 hours for them to like fix it. And after they fixed it, I was back on the road. But I got late again because there was like a huge traffic and all, and I reached Manipal only like at 3, and I had some coffee, and I was supposed to go kayaking with my friend, but then again I was very tired because I already had a long day. Like I didn't have a good sleep in the night. I only had 5 hours of sleep, and then the sun was killing me, and then I didn't want to like tire myself kayaking, so I just chilled in Manipal like till 7 o'clock. And then I know it was a long way to Goa. Bangalore to Goa is one of the most scenic roads that I have rode, but I know it's dark and it's straight and the roads are good and there's not going to be any traffic. So those are the roads I kinda hate because I know it's one straight road. You just have to be on your bike. There's nothing to see, just one open straight road. I left Manipal around 8:30 or something, and by it was a tiring ride, but still I managed to reach Goa border by like 1 a.m. and I reached Vagator. Vagator was the place where I was staying at like almost 3 a.m. And I checked into a place called Papichulo Hostel, and that place is always lit. Like it's a party hostel, and it has like nice dorms, and like you also have like private rooms and also a bar if you're like into drinking and all. So and that place is kind of like special to me because like whenever I go to Goa, I always stay there. In fact, my first ever solo trip in India was to Goa. In fact, not only my solo trip, my solo ride was to Goa, and I stayed in this place for like almost 12 days back in 2015. And whenever I go to like especially like North Goa, this is my go-to place. I went at like 3 a.m. It was already like lit, like people were literally having a good time there. I checked in, and one of the first things I do when I hit Goa is to like go have that late night burger. I think most of you would know it's like Nadim's Burger, one of the most famous burgers in Goa, especially in like North Goa. So I had that and went to sleep. Next day I woke up, and then so I was too lazy to like go anyway. In fact, this was the first time in Goa like where I was like really lazy to like go. I just want to like be in bed and just chill because all those rides, I had rode almost 2,500 kilometers in like 7 days, and it was like taking a toll on me, and I just wanted to be in the bed. But then still I went out, and then there was this guy I want to like really meet. His name was Martin. He's also a rider. He's from Germany, and he rode his bike. He and his cat. His cat's name is Mowgli. So they together rode all the way from Germany till India, and they've been staying in India since the last 3 days. Actually, they got stuck in India because of the lockdown, and that's how like I got to know. In fact, one of my main inspiration to do this ride, was him, because he did the Kanyakumari to Goa ride, and when I was like a foreigner coming from all the way, and he's going and visiting Kanyakumari, and yet I'm there, right there in Bangalore, and I haven't seen the places that he have seen. So he was also like one of my main inspiration to do this ride, and I really wanted to meet him, and I've been like texting him, texting him in his Instagram, WhatsApp. I got his number and all, but I couldn't. But late in the night he responded, and he was like, hey, let's catch up if you're free and all that. So we met, we catched up, we had a good time. So it was my birthday eve, on my 25th birthday when I was in Thailand. I had like the whole club, like 50-60 people singing happy birthday to me, and so that time I decided like my next birthday I'll be alone. So at like 11:30, 11:45, I went to a beach. I just sat there, like thinking about how 2020 was, and how 2021 should be and all that. Like I was just thinking about all the things that I have to do and all that. And like at 12, one of my friend called me and said like, hey, I have a cake ready and stuff like that. So I went, cut the cake, and usual birthday stuff and all that, till almost like 3, and I went back to sleep. So I woke up on my birthday. Again, I didn't want to do anything much big, but then I had like to meet few friends, and then I went to a beach called Mantram Beach, and then basically I chilled there for a bit. I came back again. I met Martin again on my birthday again. We went out. We were hanging out with his friends and like some other people. So basically, I had a good time. Nothing crazy, just a normal sober birthday party. And I came back again. I wasn't in no mood to like go all out, because it was like I was really tired, because and the Goa was like hot, like in February it was like really hot, and I was like really tired. Like I had sore shoulders, I had a sore butt, and like sore back, and I was walking funny. So I just wanted to like rest, like just chill, maybe go to the beach and just chill. So that was my birthday. I basically didn't do anything much other than hanging out with few friends. Then the next day I woke up again. I went to like few beaches nearby, and then I prepared my bike for the last leg. Always the last part of the journey is the most hardest, especially if you're riding, because there's nothing exciting, like you go back home and you do the same thing. So I packed my bags at around like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, loaded up my bike, said bye to all the friends and people I know, got onto my bike and left for Bangalore. So again, Goa to Bangalore is like almost a 600-kilometer ride, which you can do it in 12 hours. And but this time I was kind of skeptical because in Goa I had another two punctures. So altogether I had like three punctures in like a span of like 7 days, and they had like removed my tire and like put it back. I could feel that my bike was not in a great shape to ride the crossing between Goa and Karnataka, Anmod Ghats. So it's like one of the most toughest road to ride and all that, like with a lot of road constructions and all happening. And I didn't want to like really get stuck there and all that. Like if I had another puncture or if anything happens to my bike or something, like that's like easy 1 or 2 days worth of struggle, maybe getting my bike out from there and all that. And another thing was that I chose to ride again in the night. Like I knew it was gonna happen. Like I knew it was going to be like a lot of power naps on the and random stops on like highways for the power naps. So I left at 4 p.m. Almost 60 kilometer into the ride, I started feeling it. And I knew, like I was feeling sleepy and I was riding and I'm like, this is going to be one hell of a long ride. And yeah, and another thing was like I didn't have cash on me. Like I had cash in my bank account, but I didn't have like hard cash on me, because all these small shops, they won't take your card or you Google Pay. You have to pay them cash. So no, I couldn't buy coffee also. Like somehow I managed to cross this Anmod Ghat, the hardest part, and I somehow pushed myself to reach Dharwad. So that's like 140 kilometers. I have no idea, like I was basically running on fumes, and I was also like tired because I was on the beach, and then all the like the previous 2500 kilometers was taking a toll on me. And always, the last stretch is always hardest. So I stopped into a dhaba near Hubli, and I did one of the most stupidest thing you can. I just hogged. I just ate like crazy. I had a heavy dinner, like butter chicken, naan, and all that stuff. And I was like, I thought that will make me feel better, but I started feeling drowsy. But again, I was in a no hurry to get back. I pulled up a chair, tied my bag on the bike, put my leg up on the bike, and I just slept there. I think for like 3 hours. Like I reached that dhaba at like 7:30 or something, and after the dinner and that power nap, I think it was almost like 12 when I left. So at 12 I woke up, washed my face, and I'm like, I'm good, it's going to be non-stop for the next 450 kilometers till I reach Bangalore. So I got into my bike and I was telling my friend, hey, I'm gonna be there in like 5 hours. I got into my bike, barely 20-30 kilometers, and I started drowsing again. So I was like, okay, I have to take, I can't ride like this. I know, like there was a CCD ahead, like some 10 kilometers away. I stopped into that CCD. Like it was almost like 1 a.m. I ordered a coffee. The guy got me the coffee and I slept. I woke up almost like at 5 a.m. Drank that coffee. Drank that coffee, washed my face, and after that coffee, I kind of felt fresh. And I got into my bike, and I was like I was really good because it was almost 6, and I knew I had to cover 450 kilometers, and I also had work that day. I had to log in at 2 p.m. So I knew like there was no other option other than reaching Bangalore and going to work. That stretch, I was really feeling myself, like I was thinking about all the things that I did and all that. And by the time I reached Bangalore, like I was like recollecting all the memories that I made in the last 8 days, all the ride, all the things I've seen, all the things I've experienced and all that. Actually, when I left for the trip, I was actually prepared for the worst, like if it's an accident or anything bad, like I was prepared for the worst. And actually I was quite happy, like I, I made it back alive, because 3,200 kilometers in 8 days, there are people who do it, like, but I have never done that before, and it was kind of like an achievement for me. But I was also like scared, like because I knew like because I knew like there are like multiple things that can go wrong. But I was like really happy that I was back alive. But I was also sad that it got over. Like I really wish like I could continue, I could go forward, maybe another place. I still remember like putting up a story in my Instagram saying that Sad that it ended, but happy that I'm back safe. Even in fact even my friends were also like, they were also kind of like worried about me, because they knew like I was riding in the night also. And it's like, one day I'm in Pondicherry, the next day I'm in Dhanishkodi, and the other day I'm in Kanyakumari, the other day I'm in Varkala. It's like one day I'm on the east coast, the other days I'm on the west coast. So they're like, hey, are you sleeping well, are you resting well? So they all were like worried about me till I reached Bangalore. So this was like a crazy 3,200 kilometer solo ride which I did on my bike. And I hope you like this video. Please do like, please do subscribe, share if you can. It will help in a lot of things. So see you on the next one. Yeah.